Is the U.S. Navy on the brink of a crisis that could cripple its operations by midsummer? Imagine our fleets, our sailors, our readiness all facing severe cutbacks, not due to enemy action, but due to a funding shortfall. Before we dive into this alarming development, if you want to stay on top of everything happening in U.S. politics, hit that subscribe button right now and leave a like. It really helps this channel grow and ensures you don't miss critical updates like this one. Now, let's talk about what's really going on. Admiral Daryl Caudle, the Chief of Naval Operations, dropped a bombshell during a House Armed Services Committee hearing. He stated, unequivocally, that without supplemental funding for Operation Epic Fury, the U.S. war effort in Iran, he will be forced to implement significant cuts across the board by July. We're talking about cuts to training, routine operations, and even personnel. Admiral Caudle was very clear. The fiscal year 2026 budget, which is the plan for how the Navy will spend its money, simply didn't bake in Operation Epic Fury. What does that mean in practical terms? It means the Navy is facing an unexpected, and potentially massive, financial burden that its current financial roadmap didn't account for. This isn't a minor budgetary hiccup, it's a fundamental mismatch between our operational commitments and our financial planning. He went on to explain the gravity of the situation, painting a picture of a Navy that, despite its impressive size and global presence, is now being stretched too thin without the necessary resources. When a budget is developed, it's based on anticipated needs and ongoing operations. When a new, large-scale operation like Epic Fury emerges or escalates significantly, it demands additional funding. If that funding doesn't materialize, something has to give. And according to Admiral Caudle, what will give is the Navy's ability to train its sailors to the highest standards, its capacity to conduct routine patrols and exercises that maintain readiness and project power, and potentially, the size of its personnel footprint. This is incredibly concerning. Training is the bedrock of military effectiveness. If sailors aren't getting the rigorous, up-to-date training they need, their skills degrade, and our overall fighting capability diminishes. Routine operations, like those in the South China Sea or the Atlantic, are not just about showing the flag, they are crucial for deterring adversaries, reassuring allies, and gathering intelligence. Cutting these means reducing our presence and influence. Personnel problems are perhaps the most difficult to quantify but the most devastating in the long run. This could mean delayed promotions, a halt to new hirings, or even, in the most extreme scenarios, reductions in force. For our sailors and their families, this creates immense uncertainty and hardship. It impacts morale, retention, and the very essence of what makes our Navy a formidable force. Admiral Caudle's warning implies that we are staring down the barrel of a July deadline, a hard stop where these difficult decisions will no longer be hypothetical. The context here is critical. Operation Epic Fury, while not detailed in the provided snippet, clearly represents a substantial and costly deployment or engagement. The fact that it was not factored into the budget planning suggests either a rapid escalation of the conflict or an underestimation of its financial implications by the Pentagon or Congress. Either way, the result is the same, a looming crisis for the Navy. Who is affected by this? Directly, it's the sailors and their families who will feel the impact of cuts to training, operations, and potential personnel issues. Indirectly, it's every American who relies on a strong, capable Navy for national security, global stability, and the protection of U.S. interests abroad. Our allies will also be watching closely, as a weakened U.S. Navy could embolden adversaries and create vacuums in security that others might seek to fill. The possible outcomes are stark. If supplemental funding is not provided, we will see a degraded naval force by midsummer. This could lead to increased geopolitical risk, reduced deterrence, and a potential for greater instability in critical regions. Conversely, if Congress acts, it will likely involve a tough debate about priorities, where the funding will come from, and the implications of diverting resources. It could also signal a deeper problem with how defense budgets are being planned in the face of evolving global threats. So what do you think about this? Are we adequately funding our military commitments? or is this a sign of a deeper systemic issue in Washington's budgeting process? Drop your opinion in the comments below. I read every single one. The U.S. Navy stands at a critical juncture. The choices made in the coming weeks will determine its readiness and capability for months, if not years, to come. We will be watching closely.